2 years ago, I started a Genshin Impact challenge series where the first 4-star and 5-star character that I pulled on the account, I would have to build as on-field DPSs. I ended up doing 2 seasons of it and eventually it came to an end. But now that many months have passed, I thought it was finally time to revisit the account and take a look at all of its builds. Welcome to the random DPS, or more commonly known by some of you as the DPS Roulette account. This is the account that started not only my journey into making Genshin content, but actually my journey into making content more than once every 3 months. So I owe a lot to this account. It's very precious to me. It hasn't been played on in quite some time. I'm scared and excited because I poured 6 months into building Kaeya and Jean, and then about a year I think I poured into Dehya and Chasca. I must admit, I think I'm a bit more fond over Kaeya and Jean than I was Dehya and Chasca. Kaeya especially ended up being probably my favorite to build out of all of them. It's a series where I would have to pull on both banners, so I'd have to do a 10 pull on one banner, 10 pull on another. You know, I think I had to do a 10 pull on the standard banner to start out. It was a series where the first 4-star I got and the first 5-star I got, I would have to build as on-field DPS characters, and it didn't matter who they were, didn't matter if they were a healer, didn't matter if it was Chi-Chi. I would have to build them as a on-field DPS and beat Spiral Abyss with it before the series could end. I just gave my goal of trying to beat Abyss rather than get stars, and it was really hard with Kaeya and Jean as on-fielders. So hard, especially the fact that I did it in 6 months. Very difficult, but completed it. Season 2 was a little bit different, where it was the first 2 5-stars that I got, and we got Dehya first and then Chasca next. Long story short, the first episode got like 100,000 views, and the rest is history. Oh my gosh, look how far we've come. Now it is finally time to look at their builds. We're going to try them out a little bit. Are you looking to top up in Genshin Impact for the current or even future banners? Then let me introduce to you U7Buy. U7Buy has you covered with a large variety of in-game top-ups for many of your favorite games. Their Genshin Impact top-up page lets you buy Genesis crystals instantly and applies a discount upon checking out. So if you're interested in whaling for your next favorite character, or maybe you're wanting something small like a Welkin, then be sure to click my link in the description below and use my code NOTSHY at the checkout for an extra 8% off your next top-up. My code not only works for Genshin Impact, but Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero too. With that said, let's get back into the video. I'm gonna start with Kaeya, then we're gonna go Jean, then Dehya, then Chasca. We'll do this in order. Kaeya, trying to turn him into a on-field DPS was tricky. I paired him with C6 Bennett, so he had infusion, and we turned him into a weird, kind of a melt DPS. Got him Foliar Incision for his weapon, which C6 Bennett, he got an infusion with it, so he was able to get the stacks, which was really good. And his artifacts were really, like, look at this. This is great. His artifacts were pretty good, actually. Oh, yo, wait! Even the ER, he had pretty good artifacts. He was C3, could have gotten his talents way higher. And then this was his ratio. He could have used more crit rate, but overall he was decently balanced. His ER could have been a bit higher maybe, but given the fact that I did this in 6 months and I was also trying to tackle Jean, I think we did good. What do we rate this build? 9 out of 10? I appreciate it. I don't know if I'd rate it a 9 personally. I'd probably rate it maybe a 7. The next character we got on this account that had to be built as a DPS was Jean, and I never got her to level 90, which feels wrong. Like I just didn't commit as much as I could have to Jean. You could obviously tell who the favorite was. Kaeya was obviously the favorite. Oh, I didn't even get her weapon to level 90. I was slacking with Jean. She was paired with Farina, so we ended up putting the Hunter's set on her, and I think we got good pieces. Oh, okay. That's awful. And this is great. That's good. That's also good. She was maybe C0, C1 when we actually were playing as Jean. But once we moved on to season 2 and I was playing as Dehya and Chasca, I did get her C1, C2. I forget which one exactly. And I remember being really annoyed because had I have gotten her constellations a little earlier, might have helped. Really low talents. Good ratio though. No ER. What do we rate Jean? You can tell there was a bit of a neglect. Probably rushed her build a little bit. 7 out of 10, 6.8 out of 10. I feel like those are more fair numbers. I would say like a 6.5. There's nothing wrong really. All she needs is a little bit more leveling in some areas and a better sands, and then we're good. More ER would be good too. Now we're moving on to season 2, and season 2 was the first 2 5 stars I got. Dehya and Chasca. So Dehya is level 90. She's on 1,000 Blazing Suns, and the tragedy about this weapon is it's good for burst Dehya. We were using plunge Dehya, and this is not very good for plunge Dehya. Here's what it is. As for artifacts, she was on Gilded. Not bad. Really not too bad. Pretty decent artifacts. C1, but I don't think we got her C1 until quite a bit later. If not, probably didn't get C1 until after the series. I don't even know if we got C1 during season 2. I don't even know if this was a thing. We got her normal attacks to 9. This was useless. I think we leveled this to 8 the first time when I was trying to figure out what the heck to do with her. And then we got Shen Yun, and I was like, whoa, wait, I could do plunge there. So then we leveled these to 9. Big resource dump. Abysmal build. Crit rate's good. Where is her crit damage? Her attack is low. Her EM leaves more to be desired. What do we rate it? 5 out of 10? I would rate it a 4. She is so hard to build. Her split scaling is terrible, even though HP is low. Moving on to our second 5-star. Now this is the cool part. Chasca was the very first character we got on this account through the gimmick that's actually an intended DPS, and a pretty good one at that. We had her on our refinement 2, flower wreath feathers. I think her artifacts were pretty good actually. Really good flower, great feather, very mid goblet, a lot of attack rolls, not a lot of crit rate. C0, again, I was neglecting talents in this whole account. I think the talents were one of the most neglected things on this whole account because I would always run out of Mora. Attack is high, pretty good ratio, decent crit damage, good crit rate, especially with given the set she's on. She doesn't really need ER. Pretty good free to play Chasca in my opinion, minus some low talents. 10 out of 10, close enough. Oh, 10 out of 10. Personally, I think this is a 7.5 for me, for my standards. I think a better goblet would really raise the bar. So those are all the DPS characters. We pulled a lot of supports throughout this series. Shenhe, I think we pulled for Chasca, and I have Engulfing Lightning on her. Like, this is crazy. Farina, if I remember correctly, Farina on this account is superb, except for lower talents. Yeah, almost 70 crit rate, 163 crit damage, 190 energy recharge, and 37,000 HP. This is a beautifully balanced free-to-play Farina, and I was so happy with it. I know we got Kazaha, and we got a C1 Kazaha because I was trying to get more Bennett constellations. Does anyone remember the Sitlali incident? This is the point in the series where I was starting to get not burnt out per se. Dehya and Chasca were so difficult for me to build in season 2, and I knew I needed to explore. I needed stuff. I was so low on resources. I had to farm. I knew the only thing standing between me and the abyss was the quality of my builds, and the frustrating part with that was I didn't have enough resources, and the only way to get more resources was to do more exploration and just more time, and I was already irritated at that point. So I asked my good friend Zyrus, I was like, Zyrus, I need help. I need to explore. I need to get some stuff done, but I, for the life of me, do not have the tenacity to sit down and explore. I didn't have it in me. And he was like, yeah, no problem. He sat down and he got Sumeru Desert's like 70%. That guy, absolute beast. And while he was on my account, he pulled for Sitlali and we got back to back. Ian-san was almost entirely built by TV Rose. Shout out to them. Really helpful. I think Ian-san was for Chasca's team in the end. If we want to get into the really funky, funny stuff, we did get a Zhao when trying to get Shenhe. And we also have his weapon. And we also have Flynn's on Emily's weapon. That's so funny. Dehya constellation, please. Dehya constellation.
Greetings.
Huh?
I'm Kaeya, cavalry captain for the Knights of Favonius.
So sorry.
Look at him go! 60k normal attack? Okay, Kaeya. I see how it is. Alright. Oh my gosh! Okay, we just ran out of... Oh, we ran out of Bennett's thing. How much did we do there? Dude. Dude. What just happened?
So sorry.
45k. Saw in there. Yeah. Oh, that's 79k, or is that just like 7,000? That's a big problem with Kazuha that I have found. Kazuha's buff does not last long enough. I might need to swap Kazuha. Whoa! Way better, dude! Single cycle. So much better. Let's try Jean. We're gonna have a bit of fun with this. Let's put Bennett back. Come on, go. Just not feeling it with Jean's team. 30k. We got 30k in there. Where is our cryo? 112k. Dehya! Don't mind if I do. Never seen Dehya do that much. This is like the only way I could figure out how to make it work. Alright. Wait. Why do we have more why is there so much pyro? Silali, I need you to do more cryo application, girly. Use 2 skills for Silali. Am I melting? No. Yes? No. Maybe? I'm funny. Thank you, I try every day. In fact, I actually stare at a blackboard and I write jokes down on the blackboard. It's right above my monitor and I make sure to repeat one every single stream so that I keep my engagement rates up. It's not true, I don't own a blackboard, it's a whiteboard. Chasca's turn. Yeah, okay, I forgot Charles was good. Okay, there we go. Charles is tested, done dusted, worked out well. I think we've tested everybody. We're gonna use the resin to get little old Kaeya's talents up. You might also be wondering why now? Why have I decided to return to this account right now? So I want to start a new series, and in this series, starting on a new account and everything, I thought, you know what? It'd be real nice to go back to the roots. Do I know what that next series is meant to be? Not in the slightest, because every gosh darn time I try to get ready for it, I find a loophole in it, or I find something wrong with it, and it's like, darn it. I'll tell you my idea, and this is why it's been taking so long, and I'm gonna have to scrap it, I think, because it's just not gonna work. My idea for the next series was the first 2 characters I get, I would have to get to 1% on Akasha. Like, they would have to be perfect builds, until I realized not every character has an Akasha leaderboard. Anyone past a Never doesn't have a leaderboard right now because they haven't done it yet. So many 4-stars do not have a leaderboard. I get like a niche 4-star like Lynette or Collei, they don't have leaderboards. I'd have to re-roll every time I get a character that doesn't have a leaderboard. But at that point, it's like, what's even the point of doing it? Because where's the randomness? The whole point is it's meant to be random. It's meant to be out of my control. I'm kind of tempted, and I want your guys' thoughts on this because it's not new. It's not like a, oh, fancy new idea, you know, I've come up with this cool new idea. I was just tempted to not bother coming up with a new idea, just doing a fresh new account and just doing random DPS again. The only reason I haven't done that yet is because I feel like it's not creative enough. I'm worried it would be disappointing. I feel like there's so many people who are expecting the next series to be new and novel and a new idea, and every time I try and think of one, it's like either one has been done a million times before. There's way too many issues with it that could easily be forgotten about. You know, I'd have to think of all these rules and I don't want to constrict it too much. So it's just, I'm literally at the point where I'm thinking I might just completely do a whole reattempt of random DPS. First 4-star, first 5-star, and we just do that again. Gosh, if I got Amber, I'm gonna crash out, dude. I was meant to start the new series in April. We're in May. Right as I was like, all right, you know what? Next week, We're sitting down, we're gonna start it, I'm gonna start recording it. The biggest reason I haven't done it yet is because then I found out about the leaderboards and I was like, literally found you from the random DPS series. I would love a revisit. Yeah, I think it would be very nostalgic for a lot of people. The nostalgia bait, the nostalgia bait. Make a level 90 Chi-Chi. I really don't want to lose my 50-50 again on the 5-star when doing another random DPS. Dude, let me win the 50-50 just this once. Oh, there's so much ways it could go wrong. I also want to do something I enjoy. I don't just want to be like, oh, do an all 5-star account. I don't want to do an all 5-star account. I don't want to do an all 4-star account. I'm not interested in that. If you want an all 4-star series, go watch Java the Cup. What do I bring to the table by doing an all 4-star account? I mean, Eeks, he does all 4-star clears of the Abyss. Almost every Abyss reset. There's plenty of content of all 4 stars. One was like one element only. So for example, I pull a character, let's say it's a Dendro character, and it means that the whole account has to be Dendro dedicated now. The issue with that is I would hate that. I would love it if I got Geo, and I would love it if I got Pyro. I would hate it if I got Dendro or any other element that is very reliant on reactions. There's the other issue though. Just go watch Java the Cup. He has a full mono Geo team series that he does. And there's also the weapons, you know. So many people have a weapons only account. I think Saluna has a polearms only account, you know. Trying to be different is hard. And even then, random DPS isn't even that unique in itself. Random DPS is heavy inspired by Catadiling. What is it? The first character I pull is my main. Sound familiar? The first character I pull is my DPS? Dude, where did I get that idea from? I wonder. A random DPS is gonna be hard, but that's also why I'm not gonna torture myself with getting stars. I know it's not as impressive. I'm not putting myself through that. I don't care if it's worse content. Honorable mention, Zyox. Dude, that is so kind of you, supporting smaller creators. I love a good underdog story. Where is Kaeya? Kaeya, my boy. I can craft. There we go. I don't have a dream solvent, guys. Yeah! No dream solvent. Not the right boss drop either. It's from Boreas! And then he goes and does that. Well, I could only do this, but that's okay. We achieved something today. Look forward to a random DPS redo. No idea what I'll call it. Whether I'll call it random DPS redo, which I do not want to call it that. That sounds terrible. Don't know when I'll start that. Thank you so much for watching. With all said and done, I'll see you in the next one.